This episode of Minor Obsession is brought to you by the UNC Charlotte Bell College of Business, North Carolina's urban research business school. As alumni of Bell College ourselves, we encourage you to visit bellcollege.uncc.edu and learn how Charlotte's business school can inspire your career path. All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of Minor Obsession. It's been a while since we did a football preview. We had a great episode last week with Coach Will Healy, and, we did a couple previews, had a couple COVID games, then we missed a couple previews, and we had some actual games, so we're hoping it all works out today as we do our first game preview recap in a while. We finally had our first home opener, Sean, and me and you were fortunate enough to get to attend thanks to the Alumni Association. Shout out to them. And wow, was it a good one. Utep versus Charlotte. We were 16-point favorites. We almost covered the spread. Little backdoor cover for those of you that picked Charlotte. I apologize for that. Always want Charlotte to make people money. But man, it was a good game. It was a great experience. First of all, I before we get into the game, I think Mike Hill and the whole athletic department and facilities and whoever else is in charge of that did an excellent job. I felt really safe. Social distancing was in line and people had masks on, and I felt really good about it. What about you, Sean?
I felt great. I thought it was one of the safer experiences you could ask for. A lot of space. A lot of really good alumni. Saw a lot of people who are really involved with the university, which is great to see them, be rewarded for their time they put in and be able to attend the game. But yeah, there was miles between us and anybody else, and that gave us two things. It let me sit a little ways away from you, not have to hear bad takes coming from Scott Lieberman himself about what's going on in the game. But B, nobody else is breathing on my back, which I appreciated. And honestly, I'm a little disappointed in the excitement you brought out to start this episode. We're on a 2-game win streak right now after starting the season with 2 tough losses and having 3 games that haven't really panned out. I need a little more excitement out of you tonight.
Sorry, I'm pumped up. I'm fired up. It's kind of, I feel like we've switched bodies in some aspects. I've never seen, not that you're not a social guy, but I've never seen you so eager to talk to everybody at a football game before. You were just out there like...
I've been pent up. What can I say? I think everybody there was just loving being out.
Yeah, it was impressive. I appreciated it, but it was funny to watch, like a caged animal just get out of there and go after it like you did. And man, it was awesome. You're right. We are 2-0 or 2-2 with a 2-game winning streak and undefeated at home. We could say that.
Yep. Hopefully we get another home game later in the season, but you never know. Yeah. So it's good to start with a win on that.
Yeah, and it was a great game. We looked really good. It started a little slow. The defense with a great play to start the game, scored a quick touchdown, but really the time of possession in that first quarter was not to our advantage, even though, we were tied 7-7. Really started to break out in the second quarter and really the third quarter, and like I said, they scored kind of a meaningless touchdown at the very end of the game. But man, we look good. McAllister, really loving him over these last 2 wins. Am I right? Kick return for a touchdown. Yeah. We saw him that crazy run in the game on Saturday where we were just kind of running the clock. He gets 5 yards. He puts his shoulder down, trucks a guy, and then just completely goes to the other side of the field and takes it to the house another 20 yards. It was beautiful to watch. It's kind of what you draw up in Madden or something like that. He's looking real nice.
Yep, 2 touchdowns over the last 2 games, two apiece, 4 total, which is awesome to see for him. Really excited, especially since he started a little slow. Had 70 yards of rushing with 2 lost yards there, so a total of 68 yards, 2 touchdowns along with 36. And It was a little interesting to see Trey Harbison not getting as much time on the field last week. Not sure, if he had maybe a little injury he was nursing, or if McAllister was just doing so good that it made sense to ride the hot hand. But definitely saw a lot more McAllister last week than we saw in previous games. And how about the offense being able to spread the ball around just like we've been doing all season long? We got big game Big Show Vic out there. Victor Tucker with a touchdown, 86 yards. We got Cameron Dollar getting in with another touchdown, 27 yards. Then a few other receivers. Taylor Thompson, we like to call out that our terrible take at the beginning of the season about how we don't use tight ends, and then boom, now we're getting tight ends with catches all over the place. So, shout out to having some good T's with great hands around to be able to make that side of the game work well, too. But all in all, I think we had plenty of room to clean up. I wouldn't say we played a great game. And, Coach Healy, we talked to the week before, who said if he had the Coach of the Year award to give out right now to a Conference USA coach, he would give it to Utep's head coach. And I think we saw some of that. Utep came in with a good game plan. We were 16-point favorites, and they definitely played it closer than that the entire game. And we definitely made our mistakes and gave them a little bit more than we should on offense for their side. But all in all, nice to come away with a win there for sure.
And one other shout out, we gotta give Lance McMillan a little bit of love with a nice interception and then a fumble recovery, pretty much back-to-back possessions. Real nice for him. Nice to see him doing his thing and getting a couple dunks in the trash can.
Yeah, well, I like Tyler Murray's dunk too, and what was really cool about Tyler Murray is he wears number 5 on defense. We got Aaron McAllister wearing number 5 on offense. We get the interception, then we get the huge McAllister run for a touchdown. We call that the number 5 special here at Minor Obsession. You get it with a side of fries.
I call it a hard 10.
That's a good one.
Thank you. But overall, great win for the Niners. Really excited about that. And really excited about this big, spooky spectacular on Halloween, right? Too much?
Yeah. There's probably a lot of fans that love it being on Halloween and think that's a really cool day, and then there's probably a lot of fans with kids who are like, sorry, kids, you're not getting to go trick-or-treating tonight. The Niners are playing, so...
But who goes trick-or-treating, after dark? It's like
I think
not
anybody with kids above the age of 5 probably.
Really?
It gets dark at 6 p.m.
Yeah,
now.
It's a Saturday Halloween. It's get it done. It gets dark. Go watch the game. Easy peasy.
Easy peasy. Well, hopefully, no matter how you're going to trick-or-treat and still get home in time for Charlotte, people have some safe ways to do that with all we got going on around here. But
a quick question before we get into it. Who are you going to be for Halloween?
Sure.
Are you going to be Will Healy?
Oh, that's a good one. I don't know. Maybe we could reach out to 49ers licensing or maybe the football staff and see if we could get a nice little Healy shirt and hat combo. Or maybe you don't even need the outfit right now. You could just wear a Charlotte shirt and then rock that sweet visor he was wearing as his mask Saturday. Just get one of those taped to some sunglasses and boom, you're done.
I like it.
But maybe. We'll see. We'll see Saturday. I'm guessing not. The wife's a big fan of family costumes, and I don't think I can talk her into being Marcus.
Fair enough. Well, we got a big game against Duke. We talked a little bit about it with Coach Healy. I know he didn't give too much because it's each week one at a time, but hopefully this game gets to happen. Really appreciate Duke. We had them on the schedule for a fun Thursday night game that I think me and you both were penciling in to drive to Raleigh for that. Obviously, things have changed, but Duke kept us on their schedule, moved it to the Halloween game as their one out-of-conference opponent, and pretty fun game for us, playing an ACC opponent at Duke.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see the Reynolds versus Bryce matchup. Duke has thrown the ball well so far this season. They've thrown for 1,400 yards with their quarterback, Bryce. and 6 touchdowns. But he's also had a tendency to turn over the ball with 11 interceptions. So it'd be nice to see our defense be opportunistic, be takers like the defensive coaches love to talk about, and get after the quarterback too from the defensive line for sure. Get some pressure up there and try and create some extra turnovers, because that's definitely area of opportunity for us, especially coming off the big 3 turnover game last week against Utep there.
For sure. Well, I definitely think this is a winnable game. Duke is not unbeatable. They don't have Danny Dimes anymore, obviously. Go Giants. And I think we could definitely make some noise with this. Duke is at the bottom of the ACC, which is nice. That's favorable for us. They are winningless at home, so another thing in favor for us. And obviously it's an away game, but it's not like that serious of a travel day, right? You get on a bus, it's 2 hours, let's go. So
you don't think they're going to fly over to Durham?
You never know, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I got to throw out too, because I know a lot of people in the area, Wolfpack fans. I think if NC State can beat them, we got to be able to beat them, right? But no, I mean, Duke's having a tough year, like you said, averaging scoring just over 20 points a game, and they're giving up 30 points a game. So I know that it's apples and oranges comparing an ACC team who's playing Power 5 schools all season long versus our schedule, and trying to say that those numbers stack up in our favor. But, you at least feel confident knowing that there's some similarities there, and I think like you said, we do have a chance, and the line has kind of moved that way. I don't want to steal your thunder because I know you like to talk about the line, but I'm liking where the line's at right now.
Yeah, let's talk about it. What is the line?
Oh my God, you're not even ready with that,
huh? Tell me about it. Let's go.
So I'm showing at 9.5 right now. I think it opened at 11, minus 11 for Duke. So we're seeing some positive movement in our direction. So that's got to say something. Either there's a Charlotte fan with some deep pockets moving that line, or maybe Vegas has liked what we've been putting on the field the past couple weeks.
And the over-under is at 56. So let's talk about it. What do you think?
So, I'm going to go out on a limb here. And we who knows how many games we get to preview this year that actually happen. So I'm gonna go all out on this one. I'm gonna say Charlotte takes home their first Power 5 win this weekend. So there's a guaranteed cover on the 9.5. Maybe even take a money line if you're really feeling confident there. And I think that's going to require some scoring. I think our defense is going to have trouble containing a ACC offense, even if they are a weaker offense. Our secondary has struggled at times this year to cover certain receivers, and I think that's probably going to be the name of the game this week too. So we're going to be really reliant, in my opinion, on Chris Reynolds and the offense being able to get down the field. Hopefully McAllister continues to do what he does. Hopefully we spread the ball around to all the receivers who've touched it so far this year. And I think we're going to have to go over 56 if we got a chance to actually win this game.
All right, well, I think we're on opposite sides of the coin from that standpoint. I like a reverse spread, so I like the money line, and I like Charlotte winning by 9.5. I've got the score at 28-17 Charlotte, which is an under the 56.
Okay, that's fair.
And
we'll see. So we're both saying win for Charlotte.
I think it's a Charlotte
So that's
win,
a pretty homer take there, but
I'm not even feeling like a homer because I feel like I'm pretty blunt when it comes to picking on a lot of these things. So yeah, I like Charlotte with the W. And let's talk about Chris Reynolds, because seeing him up close in person this week
reminded you.
Well, it's not even like it reminded me. I could just see the progression from him last season to this season. Just the comfort in the pocket, being able to scramble around and stay in the pocket and take the hit but make the right throw. It's really nice to watch. It's such a huge difference having someone with the ball in their hand that you feel comfortable with, that is gonna, can make a play when a play needs to be made, and it's so nice, especially when that play does get made. And he had a couple really nice spots there, whether he's keeping the ball, whether he's he's doing a QB option, whether he's scrambling to the left and then almost getting crushed and throwing it 20 yards down the field perfectly. I'm all in on Reynolds, and God, I can't wait for next year as a senior. Um, ugh, like just the sky's the limit. I love it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I fully acknowledge that I had the wrong opinion at the beginning of last year, and thinking about what our options were at QB there. Clearly, terrible take. But interestingly enough, We're only playing our fifth game of the season. Reynolds already 71 yards shy of 1,000 yards. That'll be 3 straight seasons that he's passed for 1,000 yards, which is pretty good. And he's got plenty of room to grow from there because we're still young in the season so far this year. Wouldn't be surprised if we see him creep up towards 2,000 yards there. And Victor Tucker is 116 yards shy of 2,000 yards receiving for his career. So that'd be a pretty good milestone to get to for him. And couple key categories, too, that folks might not realize. We love to talk about how we rank compared to the rest of the country because it's sometimes hard to forget. You get so into your conference battles. You're playing Conference USA. You're watching other ACC games, and you're like, man, how do we stack up against those folks? Well, a few key categories for you here. Red zone defense, we're currently 6th in all of FBS. There's a 58% success rate. We've only allowed scores on 10 of 17 trips to the red zone when we're on defense there. And time of possession, we're at 12th in the country. Turnover margin, we're averaging 1 turnover extra a game, so we're in the positive on turnover margin. That's 12th for the country. And then our fourth down defense is 12th for the country, too. We're 2 for 8 on allowing offenses to get fourth downs. So pretty good there. I like seeing the comparison with the broader FBS population to see how we stack up, see key categories we're looking at there.
No, that's awesome. And yeah, this makeshift season, despite all the trials and tribulations, it's just great to have football, to still be kind of riding the momentum from last year and still looking really good, if not better. So really impressed with just what all of the student athletes and the coaches and the athletic department has done in these tough times to really keep this well-oiled machine going. And I know it's costly with COVID tests and everything else that they have to do, but they've done a great job. And I'm thankful that though it's upsetting when games get canceled, when they happen, man, it's kind of a lot of light during some dark times.
Yeah, I know we're talking Duke right now and what's coming up for Duke, but love to hear your thoughts on the rest of the season. So after Duke, we have 3 games on the books: Middle Tennessee November 7th, Marshall November 21st, and Western Kentucky November 28th. And I think the Conference USA Championship, along with other conference championships, is moved back slightly to allow for a little space if teams need makeup dates and stuff. So, what are your thoughts on other potential games that could get in there, or do you think our schedule's pretty well set where it's at with these 4 games left here?
I would think the only game that will probably get rescheduled, if there's a potential, would be the FIU game, just because they're in conference. We're all doing the same kind of protocols, and
Yep.
with conference championship game and whatnot, that game might be important to have. So
Yep.
that's the only game I could see happening. I don't see any Power 5 school wanting to, add us to the calendar this late in the year. And I don't see why we would add a smaller school to the calendar this late in the year, especially with what Conference USA's protocols are and, how that would affect us. So I think those 3 games with maybe one more conference game like the FIU and I guess the championship game.
Yeah, and I'm going to go out on a limb here and try and get in your head for a second and think maybe you're thinking about a few of these things that have been on my mind too, because I've seen a lot of fans begging for extra games to be scheduled and saying, well, we've got an open date this week and Gardner-Webb's got an open date this week, or this team's got an open date this week. I think the thing you got to think about is, A, college football already, you're just playing for a bowl game and hoping to be above 500. That's kind of out the window right now, right? Like, you're lucky if you even get 6 games in the seasons, let alone 6 wins. And I know they're adjusting the eligibility requirements, but the likelihood is most of the bowls are either not going to happen or going to be, money losers because they're not going to be able to get fans in the stands. But the other side of it, like you mentioned with the Conference USA protocols, you got to think about how much it's costing us just to play one of these games. So I'm feeling like your head's in the same place as mine, and this year's more of a get your team on the field so you can see what they got and build towards next year, but like don't spend all your resources throwing games out there trying to get games on the books so the fans have something to watch when you got next year to think about when it's actually going to matter again, hopefully.
Yeah, I feel that way. I would say the other thing, selfishly, is more of a sandbag mentality to some degree. Like, why add more games if we can get to 500 or better if we don't? So we're at 2-2 right now. Say the stars align and me and you are right and we beat Duke, we get to 3-2. We got 3 games left on the schedule, and 2 of them should be W's in Middle Tennessee and Western Kentucky. I think Marshall can be tough. They're ranked in the top 25. They demolished some teams, including App, who beat us, and we're going to Marshall for that game. So I think that's...
And they got a chip on their shoulder from last year, too. Don't forget about how we knocked them off last year.
I think that's the game. I mean, that's our bowl game this year, right? Like, that's the game we shouldn't win. That's the game I don't expect us to win. That's the game, if we won, would be awesome, right? So I that's what I have circled on the calendar. I think the other 2 games, like I said, with Middle Tennessee and Western Kentucky, those should be hopefully easy wins. And we should end this season, in that 500, maybe a game over 500 type area and be in the conversation for Conference USA. But you're right. It's a asterisk season of let's get some guys out there. There's only so many scholarships. Let's let these seniors play. It's good what they're doing, and let's give the fans, a taste. So next year, when hopefully everything is back to normal and we can pack the stadium, people are more hungry, more excited, and they've still gotten the taste of Charlotte football to know, hey, that bowl game season wasn't a fluke. We're building something real special here.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I think it's a tough pill for people to swallow. I think people are always going to look at it from the standpoint of, how does this affect me, my enjoyment as a fan of the game and wanting to see the team be able to be out there and support them. And sometimes you just got to look at the bigger picture, and regardless of your feelings on COVID, it's here, and, the powers that be and many organizations are taking it as seriously as they can just to make sure that there's no ill will after it's all gone. So I think it's just one of those unfortunate situations that you just got to roll with the punches and do what you can do. But maybe we'll see a game added. Maybe there is a Power 5 school that wants to throw us on their calendar to get an extra game in the books before the end of the season. But outside of that, I think you're right. I think the FIU game is a potential reschedule if we can figure out a way to make that one work.
So we talked a lot about football. We talked about the W. We talked about Duke. And we both are thinking Charlotte money line. And you've got the over, I got the under. Before we wrap up here, some other sports news happened, which, it's exciting when you get anything during this time. And Conference USA announced the basketball schedule. And that's another thing that we're going to have to explore, and we'll have to get Mike Hill back on here to climb the hill with us and talk to us about what that looks like and if we'll see fans in the stands like we saw a little bit with football this Saturday. But what did you think about the formatting change and kind of how that schedule played out?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I think it goes back to, you either just accept the reality we're in right now and learn to deal with it and just appreciate what little you do get, or you're mad that we're even in this situation to start with and people are treating it the way it is. But you say schedule, it's really conference only right now, right? We don't have the non-conference schedule because we were supposed to be in the Myrtle Beach Invitational and that kind of got blown up. Now we're looking at joining some type of tip-off tournament where we could be in a bubble for a set of games there in the non-conference and other opportunities like that. But for conferencing, I think it makes a ton of sense, right? There's a ton of risk when you travel in a pandemic. And on top of that, Conference USA was already a pain from a traveling standpoint to start with. They already had traveling partners because teams in the conference are so spread across the country. So from a cost standpoint, from a risk standpoint, from a trying to keep the players healthy and it being an indoor sport, I think that was the wisest decision they could make. And what we're talking about is that all the conference games are going to be back-to-back. So we've got Western Kentucky on December 31st and January 2nd at home. Then we've got Marshall 2 games in a row away. Then UAB 2 games at home. So we're going to be knocking off teams back-to-back games. And that's another thing. When we talked to Coach Sanchez in the past, he talked about how difficult it is with the Conference USA schedules of Thursday games and Tuesday games to prepare for the next team coming up and switch gears so quickly with just a couple days to prepare. And this will give that will give teams a big advantage to be on the preparation side. You get to prepare for one team for 2 games in a row, and then you get a few days before your next team that you get to prepare for 2 games in a row. So I like it, and I think it's going to make it for an exciting Conference USA season if it stays on the books.
And is it Tuesday, Thursday, or Thursday, Saturday?
Whatever, you know what I mean.
So,
but there's a couple games you get just 2 or 3 days to prepare.
And normally, for the home team, nothing will really change, counting out playing the same opponent twice. But normally, we're either on the road for that week or we're at home for that week, and then 2 teams kind of do the loop and flip flop as the away team for, say, Charlotte and FIU. And they would play FIU and then Charlotte on those 2 opposite days. Instead, they'll stay at home for 2 games and play that same team twice in a row. But, yeah, I like it. I'm excited about it, and I'm just glad, just like football's happening, this could be some sort of an asterisk, even though last basketball season I still feel like got cut short from us because I really thought we were going to win the conference tournament and finally be in the NCAA tournament for the first time in 15 plus years, and I was going to get to pick us in my bracket and probably have a lot of red X's, but I was ready.
Yeah, I was too. I think you're right too. And what has me excited is I think this team this year is even better. We've added a couple extra pieces, and we can get into that. But that your other question was, do I think fans are going to be there? I think absolutely not. Indoor sport, difficult to keep people safe and be able to spread out and feel like the air in there is not just permanently tainted for the players and everybody else inside. What do you think?
That's a good question. I don't know, honestly.
I think either way, the conference is going to have to make a call, right? Like, I don't think we can be in a situation where, if Alabama area thinks it's okay and lets fans in, and then North Carolina says, oh, no. I don't think we can have variance there. I think the conference is going to have to make a decision.
Yeah, I think the conference has to make a decision, and I think we'll see what happens. I think either way, it'll be limited capacity.
Yeah, absolutely.
And maybe there's, family that gets allowed into the stadium and, they have to do a rapid COVID test of some sort. Or maybe by then, things are getting better. I don't know. I'm hopeful that in some capacity they could do something. I also like to, let Mike Hill and Conference USA know, give them suggestions of maybe potential of some outdoor basketball games.
Oh, a little blacktop action?
Blacktop, maybe some sort of court. I know it'll be cold maybe for the first couple months, but maybe the hotter areas like the Florida areas, maybe that's something they could do. But I think that would be cool if they can figure out a way to have fans and keep it safe, and I think that's the way to do it. So I'd love to see that, even if it's the conference tournament. I know it's planned for Houston. Can they construct some sort of outdoor venue or find an outdoor venue that's safe that they could put some bleachers or something in the stands and let people really enjoy it in a comfortable environment.
I mean, if we're going to go that far, we might as well just take it all the way and do no rules, street ball, make it take it first to 21.
I was thinking more of like, they do the hockey outside in the baseball stadium. I was thinking like that with the basketball, almost like what.
So they actually bring like a court out and put a court in like a football stadium or something. So that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm with that. I can get with that.
I was thinking less of like the street ball rules. Still keep it normal, but just kind of move it to somewhere where people can be outside and safe, and then you could put it at the same capacity that we did at the football game or something like that. But yeah, that's my suggestion. I'm sure that's expensive. I'm sure that's probably not going to happen, but just put it in the universe. Maybe someone will take that from me.
I'm going to throw this into the universe. If I don't see the Charlotte 49ers touch that beautiful new court they got this year or early next year, I'm going to be devastated. That court deserves to be played on in the next 6 months. If I have to wait till the 2021-2022 season to see that thing on TV, I'm going to be real upset.
Fair enough. Well, I know we've taken a lot of time. We appreciate all of you loyal listeners staying tuned. I know we've been in and out for a couple weeks, but we're just kind of rolling with the punches as the football team is, and we hope to continue to bring you good content as these games and hopefully basketball happens and all that good stuff. And we'll have some more interviews here to come. And if you have anyone you want to hear from, any topics you want to hear about, as always, check us out on Twitter, Instagram, everything else. Email us, minorobsession49@gmail.com. We're there. Facebook. Anything else, Sean, that you update for us?
No, I think you got them all, and I mean, I echo your sentiment there. Just if we love hearing from you, so if you want to call us out for being absent for a week or two, by all means, do it. We love the interaction, but we'll keep doing episodes as long as there's games. If there's not games, we kind of lose stuff to talk about. So we're learning and living just like everybody else is through the tough COVID times.
For sure. Well, we're excited about Duke. We're excited about hopefully another W, and we're excited to watch it on TV yet again. Hopefully you can do your Halloween trick-or-treating early with your kids and watch that beautiful kickoff, and hopefully a really fun game on the television with a Niners money line win, and we'll see what the points look like. But feeling good about it. Excited about the W. Calling it here.
A PSA too. I got a PSA real quick. Public service announcement. You might already know this, but pretty sure the game, since it's ACC Regional Network, is going to be on Fox Sports South again, and pretty much all cable cut-in services have dropped Fox Sports South. Hulu, which I subscribe to, just dropped it this week. So I'm super upset, but I'm gonna find a way to watch it. I think DirecTV Now or ATT Now, whatever they call it now, still has it. So I might be subscribing to that for a minute. But just alert: if you have Hulu, YouTube TV, or Sling TV, I don't think you're gonna get the game Saturday. So.
Wow. Well, thanks for that PSA, Sean. Really.
Yeah, start playing it now, Scott. I know you got that YouTube TV.
Yucking my yum here.
Yeah.
Dang.
Fox Sports and the YouTube and Hulu and all, they got to figure out a way to come together because I can't deal with this. All my teams that I love play on the Fox Sports regional networks.
Dang. Well, I guess they figured all the seasons are kind of over, but didn't think about Charlotte versus Duke. Well, hopefully we'll figure that out. And we'll watch the game in some capacity, even if I have to refresh my phone over and over and over and over again for 4 hours. It wouldn't be the first time. But anyway, excited about the game and excited for a win. So thank you all for listening. And as always, remember to wear green.
And go Niners.